What is going on? This is JD coming out with another video from Redskins Rant. Hail to the Redskins. Before I get started, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel and share this video. Please follow me on Twitter, Redskins Ranter. The season is about to come to an end. I'm going to talk about a little bit about the Dallas game, the implications that it has. I think the Redskins. I'll just go into this. We don't have Haskins. We don't have Terry McLaurin. They're basically shutting them down the last two games. I think we are good enough. The way we've been playing the last few weeks, that we're competitive enough that we can beat Dallas. I don't think it's in our best interest to beat Dallas, but we can beat Dallas. I think losing and staying at the number 2 seed is probably the best interest for the Redskins going forward. It doesn't really matter this year. I mean, I think the team will play competitive. I don't think that's going to be an argument, and it's going to really show whoever the new coach coming in is that this is a competitive bunch of football players. I think we can win. I'm not going to sit here and project that we are. It's not by any stretch of the imagination the game that I want to win, because then we have second overall pick. And do I think we're going to pick second overall? No, I think we're going to trade down, and we're going to hopefully we can get like a whatever we gave to the Rams for RG3. I hope we can get something like that. I would be content with like trading down and get like a mid first and a late first and maybe a second rounder, because we don't have a second rounder this year. So that would be what I'm happy with. I would be ecstatic if we got something like where we got like 3 or 4 first round picks over the next 2 or 3 years and a couple of seconds and a third or something. That would be amazing. It just depends on what other teams need. So the first overall pick is going to go to the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Cincinnati Bengals, I think they have a quarterback they like. I think his name's Finley. He played for one of the North Carolina. I think it's NC State. I think that's what it is. I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't have a computer here, obviously, so I'm guessing. I think it's NC State, or I don't think it's UNC. I really am leaning on NC State. So they might think that that's their quarterback and they might look to get something else. Probably Chase Young. He's actually from the state. He plays in the state, played for Ohio, so maybe that's what their choice is. Maybe that's the route they're going to go. But Redskins, regardless, have the second overall pick. So a lot of people say Chase Young. I don't think Chase Young is a bad decision. I want to make that clear, and I said that in my last post in the comments. Chase Young is not a bad decision to take. He is the best available player. Take the best available player if that's the route you want to go. However, I don't think our defensive line is our issue. I think our defensive line is extremely good. I think the rest of our defense is the issue. We have Ioannidis, Tim Settle, Drawn Payne. We have Jonathan Allen. We have Kerrigan runs up on the defensive line sometimes. We have Montez Sweat. So we have plenty of guys that can do the job at on the D line, and then also like the defensive end and things like that. So I think that our defensive line is not the issue, and I think adding more pieces to the defensive line, I think you just have too much talent in one area and you're not focused on the rest of your defense. I think that's the problem. I think scheme was a bigger problem this year than personnel. I'm just being honest with that. I think our personnel is very damn good, and a lot of people don't think that. I think Jonathan Allen, Payne, and Ioannidis are a very good front three. And I think Kerrigan is probably on either his last year with the Redskins, or he'll get traded or cut because he's worth $13 million. And unless they can use that money elsewhere, I'd say keep him. Just let him get the sack record and then let him retire as a Redskin. You don't want to have a reputation of being a guy or having a guy that shows up to work every day, plays hard, plays through injuries, and then you're not rewarding that guy. So you're kind of torn between the two. I think if he takes a team discount, like instead of taking $13 million this year, he takes $8 million, I'd be more than happy to keep him. But for $13 million, I just don't think the Redskins are going to keep him. They're going to trade him for some draft picks, or they're going to cut him and save $13 million. None of his money is guaranteed this year, so they can do that. So I think we have more needs. I think the Redskins have their biggest need right now is Donald Penn is probably not going to be signed with the Redskins, and Trent Williams does not want to be here. So we have options with that. We can move Jerron Christian to left tackle and roll the dice with that. We also have Eric Flowers, who has made massive improvements at the guard position. We could possibly move him out there if we think that he's improved enough that we can move him back to what he was, his original position in the NFL, and we can start Piersbacher in his place, and then move from there, and then we can use other things in the draft. However, I don't think that's the case. I think what we should do is the Washington Redskins have a second overall pick. I think we trade down from that. We'll trade down to somebody who can give us probably about like the 10th or 11th or 12th pick. And we may not get the best offensive guard and tackle, but we can get the second best offensive guard and tackle. I did initially say I wanted to do a video on the draft. This week has been very hectic. I have not had the opportunity to do it. It's holiday weekend and I work in retail, so that's why. And my company is going through a merger. So they're being bought out, and we're going through a transition. So where I would usually have days off to do these things, I'm not. And the days I had off this week was holiday, so I spent that with family. So it's very weird, but I am going to do one within the next week or so. I think next Thursday would probably be the ideal time to do it, or next Wednesday. So with that being said, the Redskins, I think, first pick, need to trade back. They'll get at least like the 11th or 12th pick in the draft. I don't know who that is off the top of my head. I'll be able to look more at that when I do the mock draft. And I think they should take an offensive tackle. The second best offensive tackle in the draft should be available at that point. There's so many other positions that other teams ahead of us need. That left tackle isn't one of them, so I think we'll have the opportunity to get the second best left tackle in the draft, which is not really much of a fall off between the best. It's like 1A and 1B. So that would solidify us at the left tackle position. Because we do that, because we had already planned to do that, the Washington Redskins traded Trent Williams, and we got a late first-round pick and a second-round pick. And by trading back and getting that tackle, we got a first-round pick, which we already used, a second and a third rounder. So now the Redskins have options. They have a late first-round pick, and I think we use that late first-round pick, and if we have to, trade up a little bit, and we need to get a very talented tight end. There's a really good tight end, well, actually a couple of them in this draft, really athletic, that we need to get to replace Jordan Reed. Jordan Reed and Vernon Davis are both retiring, or at least they're injury prone. Vernon Davis should retire. Jordan Reed should be cut, or he should be traded. If we can trade him, that's great. I'd trade him for anything like a third, but we're going to cut him anyway. So trade him for like a fifth or sixth. See if someone else wants to take on that injury-prone stupidity and move on. He's not a bad guy. He just can't stay healthy, and it's not really his fault. I tend to think he stays in good shape. It's just he just gets in a weird spots where he gets hit in the weird spots where he gets injured. That's just what it is. Some people just have a knack for always being able to catch the ball. Some people have a knack for being able to knock the ball out of people's hands whenever they're running the football. And some people have a knack for always getting themselves in a position to get injured. It's not a bad thing. It's nothing against him as a character. It's just what he is. He is what he is, and that's an injury-prone player. Best ability is availability, and he has almost none throughout his entire career as a Redskin. So we've gotten rid of Jordan Reed at that point. We've also gotten rid of Trent Williams. So let's go best case scenario. We trade Jordan Reed for a fourth-round pick. Okay, so at this point in this discussion, we have drafted a left tackle, and let's just say we didn't trade up and get a tight end. We got tight end late first round, good tight end. I think it's probably one of the players out of Iowa. They seem to be creating good tight ends. Noah Fant and Hawkinson were both out of that school. Okay, so what's the next thing the Redskins need? Well, the Redskins this year, we've had Josh Norman was garbage, so we cut him. We're not going to trade him. No one's going to want to take on that contract. We cut him, save ourselves a couple $1 million there, and then we look for a cornerback. We can probably get a shutdown corner early second round. Maybe we take those two second round picks we have from trading Jordan Reed and trading back, and trade back into the first round and get a first round corner. First round caliber corner, let me phrase that. So we need to get a corner that can shut down and play him opposite of Jimmy Moreland. I do like Quentin Dunbar still, but Quentin Dunbar has proven this year he's not healthy. A lot of the guys aren't healthy enough to play. So why should we bank on that in the future? We need to get young guys to replace the guys that are old and banged up. So either A, maybe they're not playing injured, or maybe they're just injury prone. There's a difference. So maybe they're just not playing hurt. Let me phrase that. If they're not playing hurt, and they're just taking games off because they know they can because their job's secure, then let's get someone in there that puts a little pressure on them to play through a little bit of pain and overcome it a little bit. So we need to draft a corner. So that satisfies the three biggest needs I think the Washington Redskins have. Left tackle, tight end, which we actually need another tight end so we can get that later in the draft. We have plenty of later round draft picks. If we draft smart, we can get value. We got value last year in the draft. We got McLaurin third round. We got Harmon. We got Cole Holcomb was a later round pick. We got both of our linemen were Miller and Piersbacher, or Martin and Piersbacher were later round picks, and I mean Jimmy Moreland was I think a 6th round pick. So definitely a lot of value in the draft that if we pick smart. But those are the three key things that we draft and plug in immediately. The only other thing I could say we need is I think we need a strong safety. The Fabian Monroe, or I think it's Fabian Monroe. I always get him and Nicholson mixed up on which one plays corner and which one plays safety. I think that that experiment is over, so to speak. I like Troy Apke. Unless he throws leaps and bounds this offseason, he's just not the guy. He's got speed. He just doesn't have it. He doesn't have the it factor. So we can do one of two things. We're going to have a lot of salary cap space. We can sign one. We can sign a safety, or we can draft one that we can grow with. So anyone who has any decent talent, who's a free agent, is going to want to play with Landon Collins. The only other thing I can say is maybe we need is inside linebackers, but we have Reuben Foster coming off injury. Maybe John Bostic we can re-sign because we have the money. I will talk about this. Brandon Sheriff. I'm going to err on the side of if he doesn't give us a good deal, let him walk. Because the two games that Martin, is it Martin or Miller? I'm getting them mixed up right now. Whatever. Wes, Martin, or Miller, whichever lineman that is. Whichever one of them, if he walks, start Wes Martin. Okay, he played good in the two games he's played this year so far, and one of them, both run blocking and pass blocking, and he had no penalties, which is something Sheriff had a huge issue with this year. So let me just recap a little bit of what I've gone over. So I think the left tackle is a big issue we have, and I think the best solution is to trade back in the first round to a mid-first round pick and acquire 2 or 3 other draft picks and draft a left tackle. And we'll start that left tackle, obviously left tackle. We re-sign Flowers. We give him a pretty good contract. He played very well for us. It would be stupid not to re-sign him. We signed Eric Flowers to left guard, so our left sideline solidified. We still have Chase Roulier, who is a pretty good center. Pierce Brocker will probably be fighting with him to be starter, but I think Chase will still probably get the starting spot. We let go of Brandon Sheriff. That saves us $13 million on our salary cap. And we start, I'm going to go with Martin. I'm saying it's Wes Martin. We start Martin at right guard, and then at right tackle, I'm just to be honest, I do not like Morgan Moses. I've made it very clear in this channel that last year I think we'd have won probably 2 or 3 more games if he didn't hold all the time or jump or false start all the time. He's the most penalized player in the league in 2018. So I don't like him. I would love to get rid of him and just go with Jerron Christensen at the right tackle and give him starter reps going forward. That's just me, but we'll probably keep Morgan Moses because he is he seems to be a fan favorite. I don't know why, but he seems to be liked by most people. Tight ends. We still have 2 tight ends on the squad. We're going to get rid of Vernon Davis, and we're going to get rid of Jordan Reed. We're going to have Sprinkle, and then there's the other guy. He just got a touchdown in his last game. He's like number 88. I can't think of his name right now. It's like Holier or something like that. So we're going to draft a tight end, probably 2, and we're going to have we're going to get a tight end rotation of at least 3 good ones. Jeremy Sprinkle needs to improve his hands, but he's not a bad tight end. He's a better blocker than he is anything else, but still not a bad tight end. Running back, we're going to have Geis, Peterson, and Love. We're going to let Thompson walk because he's going to want too much money. So Bryce, Thompson, and Geis or Geis, Thompson, and Peterson, and we can pick up a running back any round that'll be at least fast, and we could probably work with that running back if we had to for a little bit. So in the offense of receivers, I don't think we need to draft one receiver. I think our receiving core is exactly what we need it to be. It's good. I don't think it needs to be tweaked at all. We have McLaurin, who is a beast. We have Harmon, who has proven to be a very good receiver. Steven Sims, Cam Sims, both of them are good. Trey Quinn, and then Richardson. So that's 6 receivers right there that we have on our roster that I think can do an adequate job at doing the receiving position. I don't think we need to go out and waste a first-round pick and draft one. I saw a mock draft that said we need to draft a quarterback or a wide receiver, the one from Alabama, and I think that's just ludicrous. That's stupid how dumb someone would think that's the best option for the Redskins right now. We just had McLaurin, who is not if he plays tomorrow, today's Saturday, if he plays tomorrow, he probably will break 1,000 yards as a rookie. He's going to break the Redskins rookie record if he plays tomorrow. But I think he has to get like one catch for like 10 yards and he breaks it. So, that's what the offense is going to look like. Defense. Obviously, we have Jonathan Allen, Jerron Payne, and Matt Ioannidis. We're not going to get rid of any one of those 3 because the first 2 are still in rookie deals, and the third one just got signed to like a 4-year extension, and he's one of the gems we got in like later rounds, so he's been great for us. Linebacking core, we're probably going to, if we keep Ryan Kerrigan, he'll start at outside linebacker, and Ryan Anderson will rotate in, and I think Ryan Anderson's actually poising to take over that spot, one of the outside linebacker spots. He's been playing very well. He played well this year. He had his moments, but I think with more reps, he's going to get better. Montez Sweat will take the other side, and he'll actually replace Kerrigan when it comes to having the 4-down lineman for a pass rush. I think he's actually pretty good at that. So there's outside linebackers, middle linebacker. We have Reuben Foster. I think Cole Holcomb has done very well, and I think he needs to be rewarded with a starting position. And I think we need to draft maybe a linebacker to help fill that void. Secondary, I think Jimmy Moreland needs to be one of our corners. The other corner can be Dunbar, but the thing is he has to stay healthy, and I think that's where we draft a guy to replace him. And worst case scenario, if Dunbar's healthy, that guy can move in and play the slot. A couple years ago, we drafted Fuller. I think his name was Kendall Fuller or Powell Fuller, one of those two. We drafted him for the slot spot, and right now, if we wouldn't have traded him, well, I know we got Alex Smith and we needed a quarterback, but if we wouldn't have traded him, we'd have Moreland, him, and we would be set at corner. And then safety, we have Collins, and I think we also, like I said, in the draft, or not in the draft, free agency, pursue a corner that we know can do certain things, that we know can make tackles, that we know can cover, and I think that is what we need to do. Get rid of Norman, and that's what I think our team needs to do going forward. A lot of draft picks, draft depth, draft guys that might be projects, put them on practice squad for a year, and then see what they are the next year. Bryce Love, I think, will be a real gem that we got last year because, you know, we drafted him after he tore his ACL, but he was a Heisman Trophy candidate the year before. So that is my video. I am going to try my darndest to get this draft video done. One draft video will be with no trade backs and just drafting what the Redskins have available to them. Another one will be with trade backs. This is JD. This is Redskins Rant. Hail to the Redskins. Last game of the season. Don't care if we win or lose. I just want to look competitive. And going forward, I'll talk about that in another video. Take it easy. Hail to the Redskins. See ya.